Hi, Chatty Curator here, and thanks for dropping by. In this video, I'm chatting with Reshma, who looks after the Multicultural Hub in Melbourne CBD. Like many venues in 2020, the Multicultural Hub needed to be closed, and we chatted about how to stay connected, and we also had an interesting discussion about being Asian Australians. So take a look.
So you know how we are talking about connections. So this is a very funny thing that happened to me when I first came here. I remember we're driving down, and I'm from Nepal. I'm from Kathmandu Valley, which is surrounded by mountains. Okay, so you can see all these beautiful mountain tops covered in snow,
Ooh.
like throughout the year. Okay, from my bedroom window, I could see that. Okay, so this is the
Oh.
context. This is the context of where I've come from. And very like first month in Melbourne, and we're driving down Morunda Highway to go to Berwick to meet someone. And then my husband, who was driving, was pointing to, like, right in front of me, pointing to Mount Dandenong and saying that's Mount Dandenong, because I was new to a country. So he was showing me, and I'm trying to look at this mountain, trying to find this mountain which was right in front of me. And I'm sort of trying to stand up in a car seat, sort of not stand up, sort of like sit straight to find this mountain. And I'm going, where is it? Where is it? And he's going, there, it's just there. And then I realized that the small hill to me at that time was a Mount Dandenong. I was very, very disappointed to know that that
Oh.
small hill was a mountain, you know. But now, after 18 years, when I drive down that road, that does feel like a mountain to me, because now that is mountain. But at first, I didn't think that was a mountain. And again, you know, I come from a country where Mount Everest is. So to me, mountain is the snow and very tall. And this one was, you can drive to the top of the mountain and it's still called mountain.
Well, I mean, to be honest, that you came from where you can look at the most majestic and tallest mountain
Yes,
on this planet from your
yes,
bedroom before. So
yes.
that wasn't the fair comparison. But I think it's interesting. Something you said that was actually very interesting, because I think there's something that I not related to mountain or traveling, but I think I've been working on something about like perception and expectation, and that actually plays a trick in your mind, because
Mm,
because I think, for example, something like looking at the mountain and the size of it and the height of it, that might have triggered like some homesickness or something like that. But
mm,
I think the wonderful thing that you mentioned is, after 2 decades here, that it's actually make you feel like, well, your perception or expectation
had
adjusts
changed. Yes,
based on your feet,
yeah,
like how you build that belonging in Melbourne.
yeah.
But of course, that I would imagine that Mount Dandenong still a lot smaller than the Himalayas.
It is.
Both of us are Asian Australians, so sometimes that we might came across a very interesting interaction with people that often ask us where we're from,
Yes.
and it's, to be honest, to me, it's quite not not annoying or offensive, but it baffles me a lot. It makes me feel very confused in a way, because I'm living in Melbourne, but I'm from Sydney. But many times that I would came across that people would ask further, like, but then what
Yes.
get to a point that make me feel a little bit uncomfortable is when someone say, "What you really from?" That word
Yes.
really, really got me. So did
Yeah.
that happen to
Yeah.
you
I,
before?
I, yes, it happens all the time. And to me, it is a bit offensive. To me, I feel like, gosh, you know, I've been here for, and not everybody needs to know that. Like, I've been here for 18 years and now I call Australia home. But you get, when you get that asked, you all of a sudden, you lose that connection with the country. You know, all of a sudden you're an outsider. Just a very simple question. It's a question that makes you a outsider straight away. You know, and I think someone who is asking that question, um, they don't know that. But to me, as soon as somebody says where you're from, I'm disconnected from this land, you know?
I think for me that it actually create a barrier with for the person who asked me the question to
Mm,
understand who I am, because for I sense that we might have a similar feeling to that, is that when for me, I would prefer someone to ask me who I am as a human being and get to know me as me, instead of defining me by, for example, cultural stereotype or such as. So in a way that, yeah, so I agree in quite a lot of ways, that because sometimes that this is also, once again, is about creating connection. But if people are
mm,
using that conversation, sorry, if people are asking a question that way, it's almost like they are putting you in a pigeonhole, putting you in a box
yes,
before getting to know
yes,
you, and that
yes.
actually
And
lose the
we live
momentum.
in a
Go
Yes,
on.
and we live in such a multicultural society. You know, Melbourne
Yeah,
is, we
exactly.
are so proud of being multicultural, and I think that is something that we need to, I don't know, we need to maybe educate. You know, perhaps like I said, someone who asks that question has got no idea how it feels to be
Mhm.
asked that. So you know, I prefer when somebody says, "Where are you from?" I have quite often now said, "You mean what's my ethnic background?"
Yep. And
You
I
know, so
also,
rather
yeah,
than saying where you're from, you can say what's your background or what's your heritage, what's your ethnic
heritage,
background or
yes.
heritage. You
I
know,
like
then
the word
it's yeah,
heritage. I like the word heritage a
yes,
lot, because I think in a way that that opens the person up to talk about, like, for example, maybe they are talking about like how cultural heritage, but maybe they can
mm,
also talk about what their cultural influence is. So I personally like the word heritage, but of course,
yeah,
like, there are many ways to approach it without offending someone. And yes,
yes,
I know that people looking at this video might put in a comment and just say, it's too political correct. But then it was like, sometimes just being a little bit cautious, it's a great way to start a conversation and start a
yes,
good connection with another person.
yes,
And yeah, anything to remind everyone, Rashma?
yes. And Multicultural Hub, we also have a um, Facebook page, Multicultural Hub. So please follow us on Facebook as well. Become friends with us, like more the merrier. So yeah, thank you.